So it shows that it's live now.
Yes, I was just going to say you are live now, Senator. Whenever you are ready.
All right, I'm just waiting for 8:30. Good morning, everyone. I am Senator Jeb Bradley, Chair of the Senate Rules and Enrolled Bills Committee. Today, we are having a regular meeting of the Senate Rules and Enrolled Bills Committee for the purpose of reviewing and approving the process of consolidation of bills by the Select Committee and approving late bills. Before we get started, I will read through a checklist to ensure that the meeting we are holding is in compliance with the Right to Know law. As Chair of the Senate Rules and Enrolled Bills Committee, I find that due to the state of emergency declared by the governor as a result of the COVID-19 pandemic and in accordance with the Governor's Emergency Order 12 pursuant to Executive Order 2020-04 and its extensions, this public body is authorized to meet electronically. Please note there is no physical location to observe and listen contemporaneously to the meeting which was authorized pursuant to the governor's emergency order. In accordance with the emergency order, I am confirming that 1, we are providing public access to the meeting by telephone with additional access possible by video and other electronic means. We are utilizing Zoom for this electronic meeting. All members of the committee and select legislative staff have the ability to communicate contemporaneously in the meeting through this platform, and the public has access contemporaneously to watch and or listen to the meeting on Zoom or YouTube and via phone by following the directions and links provided on the General Court website. 2, we have provided public notice of the necessary information for accessing the meeting in the Senate calendar. 3, we are providing a mechanism for the public to alert the public body during the meeting if there are problems with access. If anyone has a problem, please email remotesenate, all one word, at leg.state.nh.us or call 271-6931. In the event the public is unable to access the meeting will be adjourned and rescheduled. Please note that all votes taken during this meeting shall be done by roll call vote. And finally, let us start the meeting by taking a roll call attendance. When each member states their presence, please note where they are and if anyone is in the room with you during this meeting, which is required under the Right to Know law. So we'll start with Senator Avard.
Present here in Nashua in my office, and we have 2 people in the house and 2 dogs. I mean, a dog and a cat. So,
Senator Daniels.
Senator Gary Daniels. I'm at my home in Milford, and I am alone.
Senator Carson.
I want to make sure. Okay, good. Good morning. I'm Senator Sharon Carson. I am at my home in Londonderry, and I'm alone with 2 feisty dogs this morning.
Senator Soucy.
Senator Donna Soucy. I am home in Manchester and I am alone.
Senator Rosenwald.
Morning, Senator Cindy Rosenwald from Nashua. I'm in my home and I'm alone.
And I am Jeb Bradley, and Karen is with me in the house. So let's start the meeting, and I'm going to recognize Josh Elliott to discuss why we're having this meeting of the Rules Committee to finalize the omnibus bills. Go ahead, Josh.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the committee. For the record, Josh Elliott, Deputy Chief of Staff for the State Senate. So before you, if I can get my screen sharing to work here, there we go. This is the latest and greatest of the omnibus index, actually the list of the omnibus bills. As you will note, I have gone through, based on our earlier discussions, and flagged which of the which of the bills in the omnibus are going to be basically the base LSR, or the base bill for these bills. Basically, I went through and took whoever the proposed prime sponsor was by the committee, by the select committee, found an LSR that they had in the grouping, and basically made that one the base LSR. So what will happen? So for example, for this agency omnibus here, all of the low LSRs are all going to get dumped into LSR 0943, which was prime sponsored by Senator Carson. So all of the following bills will end up into that bill. Going through the list, you'll see that more or less in every single circumstance, with two exceptions, there was one of the senators who had been designated as the prime sponsor of the omnibus bill had one of their LSRs within the larger omnibus. Again, two exceptions to this: the committees and commissions omnibus bill. Senator Waters has been designated as a prime sponsor, does not have a LSR in that grouping, as well as the HHS omnibus, which is further down, which is prime sponsored by Senator Sherman. He does not have one of the LSRs in that grouping. In discussions with the director of OLS, it will be much easier and much quicker if we just have two brand new LSRs to use for those two omnibus bills. So there are, in addition to that, the other changes, any of the bills that have been withdrawn before or since sign off have been removed from this list, as well as one bill from Senator Soucy that was inadvertently included in the omnibus bill. That will be now proceeding as a standalone bill. So the first two motions that I would help just to clarify the record is to have a vote on this document that you have in front of you, that you also got in your email this morning, to just reconfirm that each of these are going to be the omnibus bills with the designated base LSR going forward for each of these omnibus bills. The second request is to allow the late introduction of two LSRs for the purposes of being used as the base for those two omnibus bills where the designated prime sponsor does not have one of the underlying LSRs. The last request, and this is something that was brought up to me by the director of OLS on Friday, is very, very much insider baseball of how the work product of these LSRs actually flow. Right now the situation is I've been directing Dave Alaconis to hold on to these LSRs that are going to be part of these larger omnibus bills. The reason for that is releasing these to the Senate clerk creates an inordinate amount of work for her office for bills that would end up just essentially going directly to the table. To avoid her office having to do all the work of having to go through and basically processing all these bills for them just to end up on the table, while the actual vehicle for these languages somewhere else is sort of is asking a lot of her office to do for no real benefit for anybody in the system. There is a bit of an issue that was brought up to me with the fact that a partisan staffer would be directing the director of OLS to hold on to certain LSRs and releasing certain LSRs. Obviously, we know for the larger context of this process is the reason for that is to prevent all that extra work from happening in the Senate clerk's office. However, just to clarify the record, I know we do this many times in the Senate of where, maybe questions are asked to establish a very clear, what the clear intent of the legislature is. I would ask that a vote be taken to direct the director of OLS to hold any of the LSRs that are on the sheet in front of you that are destined to be included in a larger omnibus bill, with the obvious exception of any of these base LSRs that need to be moving forward as part of the process. So essentially, for example, if you're taking a look at this agency request in front of you here, this request to hold the LSRs would be not for LSR 0943, which is going to be the base, but for all the constituent pieces of that LSR. So 177, 948, 950, et cetera. That way it sort of clears the air, makes it very clear what the intent of the legislature, and doesn't put either, actually, frankly, either Dave or I in the awkward situation of having a partisan staffer telling the director of OLS what bills to send and which ones to hold on to, because there's a potential there for staffer to have a pocket veto. In addition, any bills that might have been listed as confidential are no longer going to be confidential, since this list is now out in the public. So with that, I will stop talking because I realize we're short on time here. I know the Senate clerk is in as an attendee, so if you have additional questions for her, she can be happy to answer them. But I'd happy to answer any questions about the process, or how we got here, or what the reasons, go into further detail about the reasons for each of these asks.
So are there any questions before I recognize Tammy of Josh? All right, seeing none, Trish, if you could unmute Tammy.
Tammy, you're all set.
Thank you. I'm Tammy Wright, the clerk of the Senate, and I'm at home with my son. Does anyone have any questions for me?
I don't see any questions, but I would just say we all know how hard you work, Tammy, and your staff. So anything that can reduce that workload is a good idea.
Right, the duplicating of bills, correct?
Right.
All righty, thank you.
Thank you, Tammy. All right, so I'm going to recognize Senator Carson for the purpose of making the motions that Josh outlined.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to move that we approve the final omnibus bill spreadsheet.
Is it seconded?
Yes,
It's been seconded by Senator Rosenwald. All right, I will call the roll on the first motion to approve the final omnibus spreadsheet. Senator Susie,
Senator Susie votes yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
yes,
Senator Daniels,
Daniels, yes.
Senator Carson,
Carson votes yes.
Senator Avard,
Senator Avard votes yes.
and I vote yes too. So that motion on the first, that vote on the first motion passes 6-0. All right, Senator Carson.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that we approve the late introduction of 2 late LSRs for the purpose of using them as base vehicles for 2 omnibus bills.
I will second the motion.
Seconded by Senator Susie. Are we ready for the question? All right, Senator Avard,
Senator Avard, yes.
Senator Carson,
Senator Carson, yes.
Senator Daniels,
Daniels, yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
yes,
and Senator Susie.
Senator Susie, yes.
And I vote yes too. So the motion, the vote on the second motion is unanimous, 6-0. And lastly, I'll recognize Senator Carson again for a third motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I move that we direct the Director of OLS to hold in his office any LSR on the attached sheet that is slated to be included in an omnibus bill and not designated as the base LSR, and to not release them to the Senate clerk for the reasons outlined above.
Senator
Second.
Susie seconds.
So seconded by Senator Susie. Are we ready for the question? All in favor, I will start with Senator Susie.
Senator Susie votes yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
yes,
Senator Daniels,
Daniels, yes.
Senator Carson,
Senator Carson votes yes.
Senator Avard,
Senator Avard, yes.
and I vote yes. So the roll call on the vote on the third motion was also 6-0. So that ends the process of the omnibus bills. Now, there were some requests for late bills. to come before the committee. I'm going to make one motion on that, and then after I make that motion, we'll have a discussion on the next meeting of the Rules Committee. So Senator Rosenwald has a bill dealing with charitable gaming. Senator Sherman has a late bill request dealing with price gouging. Senator Avard has a late bill request dealing with bingo. I have two late bill requests, one dealing with tipped wages and the other dealing with alteration of terrain permits. So I would make the motion that the Rules Committee allow all 5 of those late bills in with a deadline for the information to go to Legislative Services by this Friday, which I believe is, someone help me out here, the 22nd,
22nd.
Yes.
with a final sign off by sponsors, prime sponsor and co-sponsors by the 29th.
I will second that.
Okay, is there any discussion on that motion? All right, seeing no discussion, we'll start this time again with Senator Avard.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I want to introduce a bill.
No, I've already introduced it.
So yes.
Senator Carson,
Senator Carson votes yes.
Senator Daniels,
Daniels, yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
Yes.
and Senator Susie.
Senator Susie votes yes.
And I vote yes too. So those 5 bills have been admitted in through the Rules Committee process. So this is what I would propose, that the Rules Committee meet again next Tuesday morning at 8:30. Senator Susie and I both have commerce right after that, but obviously we've concluded our business for today very quickly. What I would ask is that Josh email all Republican senators and their staff, and that Marina email all Democratic senators and their staff, that the Rules Committee will meet for the purpose of late introduction of bills next Tuesday, the 26th at 8:30. And I would hope, unless there's some emergency that we haven't anticipated, that this would be the last opportunity for late bills, given the workload that we already have. But I think, you know, in fairness to everybody, we had talked about having a meeting at some point by the end of January to do this. We obviously had this meeting today, approved 5 bills already, but in fairness to the other 18 senators that may not have been aware of this meeting, I think we should open it up, hopefully for one last time, and hopefully everybody will be judicious in what they request. Does that make sense to everybody?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay, I don't think we need a motion for that. Josh will and Marina will send out those emails. Trish will notice it in the calendar for 8:30 next week. So I think we're good to go. Is there any other business to come before us this morning? All right, seeing none, if somebody could make a motion to adjourn.
I would move.
So I
Senator
second.
Susie moves to adjourn, Senator Carson seconds. We'll call the roll. Senator Susie,
Yes.
Senator Rosenwald,
Yes.
Senator Daniels,
Daniels, yes.
Senator Carson,
Yes.
and Senator Avard.
Senator Avard, yes.
And I vote yes too. So thank you all very much, and we'll see you next Tuesday. Thank
Thank
you,
you.
Trish.
Thank you.
Thank you, Josh.